and place your arms around yourself and just welcome yourself to yourself. Where there has been a splinter, there has been any sense of separation, any sense of denial about the greatness that lies within your consciousness, let's have a dynamic soul retrieval and bring all of you back. Every part of you that's been splintered off or tried to have its own identity as a wounded one, its own identity as someone who's been victimized, its own identity as someone who's been hurt and it's created its own energy, let's bring it all back and redeem it. The grand redemption is happening now as you embrace yourself and realize there's so much greatness here and so much love and so much beauty, and it's all being redeemed so that you can be whole again. Feel into that. You're coming home to yourself. Whenever you come to a sacred service, you are coming home to you. That there is something about you that is magnificent and beautiful. Something about you that is timeless and ageless. Something about you that is incorruptible. We're talking about the real you. So when we speak about this in the context of the theme of the month, which is the great work is about you remembering what I just said. That every prayer, every moment of meditation, life visioning, or any dimension of spiritual technology that you approach or use, you are about remembering your real nature and your real being. You're remembering that. And then also remembering that you have arrived here on the planet at this time in human history to bring forth the glory of the living one through you on the planet. You have come here in this world that appears to be fragmented. You have come here in this world not to get anything from the world, but you have come to give everything to the world. You have come to release life energy of love and beauty and joy and harmony, abundance and absolute genius codes being activated within you. You've come to remember that. That's a dimension of the great work. The theme says also that you have been chosen. You have been chosen because you chose. Many are called, but few are chosen is what is written. But many are called, but few consciously choose. That is, they have forgotten that they chose to be here. You were not pushed into an incarnation. You leaped into it. You saw what was going down on the planet. You saw that there was a great birth, and you didn't want it to be a breech birth. You wanted to be a real birth. And so you leaped into this incarnation to be a part of the great transformation that's taking place, the death knell of wars and rumors of wars, of hate and bigotry and lack and limitation and the hypnotism of scarcity, the last call of those particular dynamics and the birth of individuals who were coming out of being brainwashed into separation. You chose to be here at this time in human history. And so we are here as a part of the great remembering that we've been chosen, that we chose to be here. And then we're coming to an understanding today that when we hear L.A.U.G.H, which is laugh, I was thinking about the fact that this week I was in conversation with the venerable L.A.U.G.H, the lineage holder of the Cherokee Nation. And the first thing, and I said, "How you doing?" And she said, "Happiness." She said, "Happiness is my job." And I said, that's right along with the theme of what we say at Agape, that we're here to localize a cosmic celebration. That it's in alignment with Yeshua ben Joseph that said in the world there'll be trials and tribulations. But he said also the spiritual practice, be of good cheer, for I've overcome that particular world. And so when we think about we think about living. You are here as an extension of life itself. a full emanation, a holographic expression of the only life that there is. When we begin to understand that when you pray, when you meditate, you're not praying to God, you are praying to remember that your life is the life of God, and that this divine life that is incorruptible is, and this is your real self, by the way, is seeking to express through you. Every insight, every revelation, every moment of remembrance is a moment of which you are becoming you. So you never have to pray to God to be God. You never have to pray to the sun to be hot. You don't have to pray to water to be wet. You are simply opening yourself up to be receptive to the real you. That is life. That is living. And so when we say laugh, we're saying live as unified great healer. That is what laugh means. And so live as a unified awareness of this one power and presence where we have been fragmented and have developed a sense of the separation. We are a unified whole presence. And I have to keep coming back to this because it's been on my heart for the last month or so, because I begin to see the real me. I begin to see the real you. And oftentimes, even in metaphysical circles, where individuals speak about being one with God and God being everywhere, they still kind of at times reach out to God. They still have this sense of a separation. They have the lyrics, but they don't have the music. And so you got to have that feeling that all of this presence is right here. And it's coming. It wants to know itself as you, unified. Live as a unified, great healer. That means great. Greatness simply means you're becoming more you. It doesn't mean you're comparing yourself to anyone else. You can be encouraged by someone else. You can be inspired by someone else. Other people can set a vibrational example. But you, being you, are great. When you are you, you are great. You are magnificent. And you live incomparable. You're not comparing yourself. You are a great healer, which means your vibration reveals the sacred wholeness everywhere that you go. I'm trying to lean into something so that you can walk in this world bold, sovereign, spiritual beings, not being pulled by all of the things that are going on in the world, so that you can laugh. You can say with Diani, you know, happiness is my job. You can laugh and say that laughter is your job, that you're here to localize a cosmic celebration. Now, we are not laughing at destruction. We're not laughing at the destruction of the rainforest. We're not laughing at pollution in the ocean. We're not laughing at the brainwashing that governments do on young boys and send them out to war to kill their brothers, hypnotizing them into thinking that the people that they're killing is something other than themselves. We're not laughing at that. We're not laughing at the destruction of the earth when the individual governments are dropping bombs on the planet and using depleted uranium and creating all kinds of havoc on the human civilization. We're not laughing at that. We're not laughing at poverty. We're not laughing at homelessness that is unnecessary in a world that has everything that is necessary to feed and to clothe every being on the planet. We're not laughing at that. We are coming to an understanding that the highest vibration wins, that when we lift our spirits into the vibratory frequency of laughter, of joy, being of good cheer, praying with the feeling tone of our oneness with the presence of God, that particular vibration allows for heaven, the realm of ever-expanding good, to be on the planet. We're not going there, we're putting it on and carrying it with us. In other words, we become spiritual astronauts. in which we carry heaven with us, our own atmosphere. And then, as the great healers, that begins to transmute the energy that is around us. The one thing that is funny to me is that we are in a simulation. You see, that there is a real us, incorruptible spirit, Christ's presence in and as us. And we are in a simulation of 3 dimensions. You know, there's this time and this space and this depth, and it's a simulation. We're walking around in 3 dimensions thinking this is a real. And you know what's funny to me? We're already in the simulation, and then people will buy those weird things and put it on their face and go into another reality. So they're in a simulation already, then they go into another simulation. It's so silly. The whole thing is to wake up out of the simulation and to realize that heaven is right here and right now. This is our calling, to wake up. We have brothers killing brothers in Gaza. They're killing brothers and thinking they're killing somebody else. They're killing themselves, you see. All around the world, this is happening, and it's a brainwashed situation. And so we're saying, in substance, we are the individuals. That when they throw a war, no one will show up. We're the individuals that are seeding that thought. So that the things that you've heard me say over a period of time, the normalization of the insanity of separation, we are the ones that are laughing. That is, we know there's no such thing as death, but we know that people are going to experience their own denial of love on the planet. What does that mean? That means that when you pass over to the other side, and I have been to the other side, when you pass over to the other side, you walk into a field of unconditional love, because that's all that God is, and judgment and love cannot exist in the same space. But you do experience every time you're in your life where you withheld love. You experience all the times that you withheld love, and you experience how the people felt when you withheld love. So all the people that are being brainwashed right now to kill other people, and they think they're doing it for their country, and that nonsense, that the things that are against unity and oneness, and one of the things that are the hedge against mysticism is pseudo-patriotism. That is a hedge against mysticism. Nationalism is a hedge against mysticism. We have to break those boundaries and see that we're all one. But when the individual crosses over from being brainwashed, they say, could have had a V8. could have had a higher consciousness. And there's no judgment from God, because God can't judge, but they experience all the ways by which they blocked love, and all the ways that they were hypnotized and brainwashed by governments on this particular planet. We are the ones standing up and saying the Christ is the government upon our shoulders. Love is the government upon our shoulders. Peace, and it's not popular at times. It's silly at times to people. But the Spirit can only be discerned by that which is spiritual, you see? So we walk in laughs, living as unified, great healers, seeing individuals in a simulation of time and space, eking their existence out of trying to change a condition or a circumstance or a situation for them to be happy. Not us. We understand that we are the light that lights up every being that comes to the planet, and we don't try to change a condition to be happy. Happiness is our job. Love is our job. Peace is our job. We hold that frequency, and then what happens? Conditions change. Circumstances change, because they are the coagulation of longly held thoughts and beliefs, perceptions, opinions, and points of view, positionalities. And they begin to modulate, and they begin to transform. That is happening on the planet right now, though you may only be watching a very small viewpoint of reality that is censored through your media. There's so much good happening on this planet. We're living in a time in which so many people are coming to an understanding that they create their own experience of reality. Hear what I just said. So many people are coming to an understanding. They create their own experience of reality. They don't create reality, because reality is forever the same, but individuals create their own experience of reality. So there are more and more people waking up to the truth that there is something beyond the simulation. There's something beyond their thoughts about reality, and there's something that is real and eternal. And when one meditates, and when one prays, and when one opens himself up to an insight, that moment of insight is, catch this, is you. It's you becoming more you. It's not God just giving you a blessing, because the God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. The living one is everywhere in its fullness. It doesn't change up its nature, so you can pray all you want. You're not going to change God. Well, I think they prayed enough today. Let me see. Okay, she gets a blessing. He hasn't prayed enough yet. I'm going to wait. No, it doesn't work like that. The presence is the presence. Your prayer brings you into a coherence with what is reality. Insight. Insight, I'm changed. Me becoming more me. I break out of the simulation of time and space. The eternal has taken over my life. Where I was blind, now I see. Oh, it's been here all the time. The universe has been on my side all the time. God has been for me all the time. My life is the life of God. And from this space now, I can declare and decree, because there is nothing in me denying the good that wants to express through and as me. Let there be light. Let there be love. Let there be beauty. Let there be abundance. Let there be joy. Let there be prosperity. Let it flow through me. It is here already. I don't have to change anything out there. I have to come into an awareness that it's already here. Now I walk in it. And then I maintain that state to the best of my ability. You have heard this statement many, many times in many different ways of spiritual practice, that your yoga begins the moment you get off the mat. Your prayer is in your feet after you stop praying. You've heard that so many times, but this is real. Meaning that you maintain the state when you finish praying, when you finish your qigong, when you finish your yoga practice. When you finish, you go into the world. But you're not looking for the negativity. You're looking for the good. You're looking for the good. You know, when they asked Mother Teresa, how could she feed all of those people? And she said, every person I saw the face of Jesus. That's what she was looking for, you see. So we begin to look for the good everywhere we go. Until we're imbued. And we carry the feeling tone of the presence, you see. So I was thinking about the Venerable L.A.U.G.H. I can remember a number of years ago. I think it was 1978. Nirvana and I had been teaching individuals how to pass their practitioner exams. And so we went to take our practitioner exam, and everybody passed except for me. I failed the written exam. And what? I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? And so I can remember walking down Larchmont, and I saw this article, this magazine, a yoga magazine, and it had Dhyani's face on it, so I picked it up and read it. And as I read it, it just healed my soul. as I came back into an awareness of why I'd been in the practitioner training class in the first place. It was not like to be a practitioner. I just wanted to grow and continue to expand my consciousness. So it didn't matter. So then we discovered that she was actually in this yoga class teaching. She wasn't teaching yoga, but she was doing a lecture. And Nirvana and I walked in, and she was standing there. And she said, remember? Remember? What? Remember? And she opened up this portal, and we remembered our past lives together. And it just like was a total healing. So then the next day, I got a call from Dr. Daniel Morgan. He said, this is unprecedented. This never happened before. They want you to take your test again. Normally, they're not supposed to take the test for a whole year, but they just can't believe you didn't pass the test. I said, really? Okay. So I go down to take the test, and I'm answering the questions the exact same way that I answered them before. And I said, wait a minute. So how I prayed was, let me tap into the mind of God. I started answering the question. Then I said, oh, I got it. No. Let me tap into the mind of the man who wrote the test. I got a direction from God. No. Okay, let me tap into the mind of the man who wrote the test. So then I said, oh, they want metaphysics, not mysticism. I remember that. So I went back into my awareness of mental science. And then I answered the questions. And then I aced it, you see. And then I was like, oh, I got it. Now, we often walk in this world, and we need to understand a little bit how the mind of man works. It's crazy. We understand the sense of separation. We understand the brainwashing. We understand the malicious hypnotism. But what heals it is when we tap into the mind of God, and we vibrate at that level. Oh, this is the other thing. I might as well finish this part of the story. The night before I took the test, I had left my body, and I was walking with this woman, and we were having this beautiful conversation about mysticism and life. And then as I was waking up in the morning, and the sun was coming into my room, I said, okay, see you later, Mary Baker Eddy. I was with Mary Baker Eddy all night. So my consciousness was more into this mystical realm. So I went to take the test for religious science. They wanted mental science, but I was in mysticism. But then later on, as I just described to you, I said, okay, let me tap into the mind of the man who wrote the test. And then I passed that test at that level. What am I saying to you? When we look out upon the world, we oftentimes see limitation, lack, we see brainwashing. I mean, the systematic stabilization of insanity is the mind of man separated from God. But there is something that is so sweet and wonderful that when we vibrate at that level, I'm asking you that it is your job. As I was speaking yesterday, I did 2 workshops yesterday at Reverend Jones' Agape Bay Area in Oakland. I flew in last night, and as the old comedians used to say, and my arms are really tired. Flew in last night. But as I was speaking to them, one of the things I was sharing was that we have to sometimes approach our spiritual work like it's our job. And not a job that you hate. I gotta go to work. No, not that. I gotta meditate. Oh, Lord Jesus. I gotta pray. No. Oh, I gotta do the life visioning process. No. You wanna go into, it's time to pray, baby. It's time to connect. It's time to go in. You approach it like a job, like you're getting paid to do it. You know what I mean? But you're getting paid dividends. You're getting dividends of the Spirit moving through you. But so it's not just like I'm gonna wake up and do 2 minutes of affirmations. It's like you stop and you go in. This is my job right now. I'm not going to get up from here until I have a sense of connection with the timeless, with the real. Because the mind of man is devious. It's going to create brainwashing. It's going to put sugar in cereals. Corporatocracy is going to lay off people even though they're sitting on billions of dollars. It's going to pay people not even a minimum wage while they're making billions of dollars. And then, check this out. Okay, really? Okay, check this out. You got these big corporations not paying not paying a living wage, and they say, why not? Well, we have to pay our stockholders. So then the government has to give those people food stamps. We're paying it with our taxpayer dollars. It's a weird situation. That's the mind of man. Crazy. Crazy. You're going to go out into this world and be bamboozled by the mind of man. However, when you become you, you come out of the simulation, and out of nothing, you can create abundance, prosperity, health, innovation, entrepreneurship, creativity. Out of nothing, you can be behind vibrational enemy lines, and you can be a divine success. Just as all of those people in the African American descent that in the midst of racism, Jim Crow, in the midst of bigotry, became creators, innovators, prosperous. We can do that out of nothing. We come out of the simulation of the mind of man, state that is stabilized inconsistencies, and birth a whole new life. Laugh, live as unified great healers. It's our job. Be of good cheer. We have overcome that world. Happiness is our job. This is not frivolous. This is not frivolous. This is inner work. What is your work? To be in the joy. What is your work? To be in the love. What is your work? To be in the peace. Even when it looks harsh. And I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying it's easy. That's why I say it's a job. It's our work. The practitioner will meet a client and their life is devastated. They know they can't go into a sympathetic vibration and vibrate at the level of the devastation. They have to vibrate at the level of compassion, which means they lift them out of that into the integration of their real nature and being, and hold that space until the person can hold it for themselves. The world has invited us. The world of war is inviting us to hold the space of peace. The world of bigotry and racism is inviting us to hold the space of love and unity. The world of lack and scarcity is inviting us to hold the space of harmonizing prosperity, wealth, and well-being for all. The world as it appears to be, we are overcoming that world. Where? Inside of our own consciousness. And that's what Joel Goldsmith said in that reading today. Inside of our own awareness. And as I said earlier, when you hit that sense of unity, now you can declare and decree what is so in your life, because there is nothing in you denying what you are saying. Let there be life. Let there be love. Let there be beauty. Let there be joy. Let there be abundance. Let there be. It's already here. Let it demonstrate and manifest itself through and as us. Somebody scream about that. Now, right now, just allow yourself to just laugh. Just just laugh. And then remember Dr. Norman Cousins? He had that debilitating dis-ease by which he was becoming more and more debilitated to the point he couldn't even move his mouth. His jaw would be stuck. He couldn't walk. His bones were becoming more and more brittle. The doctors couldn't do anything to serve him. And what did he do? He took mega doses of organic vitamin C, and he watched the Marx Brothers 2 hours a day as his job, and laughed a minimum of 2 hours a day until his body began to change its body chemistry. And then the DNA began to change because the chemistry in his body began to change, and his body began to heal, and he had a 100% full recovery. He laughed himself to health. He laughed himself to health. We have to rise up when it's hard and be in the joy and laugh and celebrate the good. And it begins with you thinking about one thing in your life that brings you joy. You can find 10 things that don't work. Just remember when you're having one of those rants and you're complaining. You got to find all kinds of things you don't like, even the traffic. Think about one thing that when you think about it, just, it makes you kind of smile. One thing. Oh, I like that. It could be your health. It could be somebody in your life. It could, whatever. It just doesn't matter what it is. And you just let your attention just go there and just be in the joy. And then you take that joy, that happiness, and you let it magnify and multiply to every area of your life. And since everything is frequency and vibration, all the areas that seem like a desert, dry land, they start to be flowing with the vibratory frequency of the joy you're holding. And because those particular areas are a condensation of a thought, an unforgiveness, a resentment, they begin to be healed. You're pouring water on dry land from your own consciousness. This is work. It's work, but it's science. It's spiritual science. Be in the joy. Be in the love. You are the love. You are the joy. You are becoming more you. Laugh. It is your job. Happiness, it is your job. Localizing, cosmic celebration. Woo. Sometimes I think about, I should stop. What time is it? I just want to say this one thing. Sometimes I think about, particularly when my schedule gets very intense, and I'll hear, how do you keep doing this? I think about the different iterations of Michael. And I think about those iterations. I think about the iteration of Michael that was released from a deep legal situation. So much joy. I think about the iteration of Michael where he didn't know what he was going to do with his life. He had this tremendous spiritual awakening, but he did not yet know his destiny. And then the phone rang and somebody wanted some help from me. And it gave me momentum to be of service. I think about those different iterations. And every day I get up and be of service because of those other aspects of myself that I'm working for. You understand? It's like those guys, I think they're proud of me. I think they're proud of this guy. And I think there's another dimension that wants to come forward. I'm just getting started up in here. I'm just getting started. There is way more to all of us. You're not going to fall prey to the different stages of life and then you're finally over. The only stage you are in is the state of continual growth because you are an infinite being. That's all. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Woo. Life is good. Life is good. Woo. Come with me. Come with me. Let's move, as Dr. Homer Johnson used to say. Come with me upstairs. He used to say, let's go upstairs And then he would say, don't even look over the balcony. Don't look over the balcony and see all the things that need to be repaired right now. Just come upstairs and see the divine spiritual prototypes, the divine spiritual ideas that are real, perennial, forever, and eternal. And begin to vibrate at that level so that as you're walking in the world, you're in it, but you're of a higher frequency. Come with me into the realm of the all-good. Let that inner laughter within you. I know it might be hard in some areas of your life. We're not denying that it might be hard. It might be limited in some ways, but come inside of your own being and begin to have a big smile about anything in your life that's all right. And begin to place your attention there, because you know energy flows where your attention goes. You know that. So why not just place your attention on that which is working? So that what you place your attention on expands. Why don't we expand what we love? The vibration and the frequency of what brings us joy. Let us lift ourselves up. The world needs us to be ourselves. We have come to bring this to the world, that the world may change. Come, 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 come. Turn within in this moment. And with a deep sense of gratitude and thanksgiving, we give thanks for our life. We give thanks that we exist. We give thanks that we said yes to being for the great choice. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks. And in this dynamic feeling tone of thanksgiving, there is a reckoning and a deep recognition of the life essence that is everywhere. And lo and behold, we have an inner realization that we're at one with this life. Yes. It's not far off. It's not way out there. Because the way out there is the way in here. As within, so without. All the great cosmos, the solar systems, the galaxies, the multidimensional universe, the quarks, living biology, all of that is in here. Closer than our breathing, nearer than our hands and feet, closer than our neck vein. One with God. It is from this awareness that I have the privilege and the honor, and that's how I look at it. It's a privilege and an honor to speak the word. Yes. For each and every one of us. The full awareness that there's only one of us. That's right. I am you in disguise. You are me in disguise. We're all one. I call forth the great awakening. That individuals who have been brainwashed by their governments to see that there is an other that they are to kill or to maim, that they're to wake up and to see that underneath the disguises, we are the same life energy of God. I call forth a great awakening that selfishness, greed that creates hunger is dissolved from our consciousness. I speak the word that each and every one of us wake up to our glorious nature, that we may live to give our gifts, our talents, expand our capacity for more cosmic energy to flow through us as us, that heaven breaks out all over simply because we're there. Anything that would hinder, delay, obstruct, or deny this, oh, listen, It has no power here because there's only one power. That's God. When people say we're speaking truth to power, I say, oh no. We're speaking truth to pseudo power because there's only one power, and that's God. Everything else is a counterfeit. We stand in this awareness. Matter of fact, for those who can, stand up right now.
Come on.
Stand up.
Yes.
And feel that you're taking a stand for love. Feel that you're taking a stand for dynamic peace. Feel that you're taking a stand for abundance. You're taking a stand for beauty. You're taking a stand for joy. And you're standing up as we used to do and will continue to do at my meditation retreats, where we would stand and walk around and maintain the state that we had achieved, so to speak, when we were in our meditation. Because we didn't just want to have the state when we were meditating. We wanted to have the state while we were walking around, Nikki.
Yeah.
We wanted to have the state while we were walking around, while we're in traffic, while we're walking through the supermarket.
That's right.
We wanted to have the state in life. So as you're taking a stand, you're reminding yourself that you get to carry the vibration and the frequency of the Most High when you are in prayer, when you're in meditation, and when you're just moving through your daily activities. And so we take a stand and we feel the great change happening within us, the great transformation, the great alchemicalization of thought forms of separation, transforming into the deep sense of unity. Feel it in your bones. Help them feel it. Help them. Help them. Help them.
Someone's in need of a prayer today. Have you done your part? Someone's in despair this day. Have you prayed from your heart? So many are trying to find their way, and they need your light, you know, for our prayers of love. Yeah. They lift them high and they heal, sustain, they set them free. Our prayers of love, they did it for me. Yes. It heals, sustains, it sets them free. Yes, it does. Sets them free.
Sets them free, Nikki.